Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ade-OLUWA. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I need all the subscriptions I can get, and I hope you can tell me what you want us to talk about. But majorly, I speak about what comes to mind based on happenings, and it's about Meghan Markle and her in-laws. For me, this is how I see it. This is just her and her in-laws, and I think that a typical Westerner is not used to having to deal with in-laws. If you're a black person and you grew up in the West, or you just grew up in the West, period, you don't know, you don't really understand the dynamics of in-laws and their mindset and things like that. But as someone who lives in Africa, the influence of in-laws cannot be, it can break a marriage. Truth is, the influence of in-laws cannot really hold a marriage together. From what I have observed, in my immediate environment, it cannot hold it can hold marriages together, but it can break marriages apart, right? So that influence is usually more negative than it is positive. In Meghan's situation, it's an in-law issue, and then there are many elements to it. There are some who have said it has elements of racism in it. I can't even begin to disagree. I don't want to agree, because I don't want to think of her in-laws, and when I say her in-laws right now, I mean both within her husband's family and the country in general. People are always saying, well, those in the royal family are not really the problem. I'm just like, isn't that making excuses? But I think my advice sometimes, well, I can't really say my advice, but there are a lot of women who are going through situations where they have been mistreated and abused by their in-laws and all of that. And in the case of Meghan, so to speak, I didn't watch the interview, and I think I haven't watched the interview yet because of the person who conducted the interview. I'm not like from her past interviews and all of that, and the way she treats the way she treated some of the people she had interviewed makes me a bit wary. Like, I don't want to I don't know, like, I'm still thinking about it, but I'm getting the gist of the matter. And I'm not, on one hand, the person who conducted the interview, I'm a bit skeptical about the person, and two, I'm not sure I want to know all the gory details of what she's been through. I can imagine, and I really don't want to get into all of that. Like, I'm not emotionally ready, because I'm sure that, the little I have heard from that interview, because the clips are all over the place right now, the little that I have watched, from where they were talking about the skin color of her child, like, what is her child's skin color going to be like? And I'm like, okay, I didn't find that surprising, personally. These are people whose history their history, their connection with Africa has been bloody, has been of slavery. So what is the shocker about that? I mean, are we really expecting? I mean, they are descendants of people. Britain and England, they are descendants of people who saw black people as inferior. No matter what a black person, they just see a black person as someone who would help them build. But to be an independent force is something that they might not be very comfortable with. You know, they're kind of somehow. I don't understand them, and frankly speaking, I don't wish to understand the British. I mean, I'm too busy trying to understand myself. I don't have time to understand them, you know. But I think that Meghan, being in her position, she might want to try to understand her in-laws. Now, understanding the in-laws doesn't mean you concede to them. Understanding them means that you know how to protect yourself. You understand? That is the main point. If you do not understand the people who are contending with you, you will always be at a disadvantage. And I kind of feel sorry for her, because as an entertainer, she's an entertainer. That's what they call them. And they say it in a derogatory manner, like entertainer. Like that is an upgrade from being a call girl, so to speak, like an upgrade, a much more sophisticated call girl. That is the tone of voice they use among the ton, you know, among the what I will call the British extremists, so to speak, who believe that you know, certain traditions that they will not tell all of us, oh, by the way. And that brings me to one point where I disagree with a lot of people who say that she knew what she was getting into. And I ask myself, let's look at an ordinary, so-called ordinary marriage to just a person who is not a titled person. Do you really know what you are getting into? I mean, the people who are divorced right now, are you telling me that if they knew they were going to be divorced, if they knew what they were getting into, do you really think that they would have gotten into it in the first place? If they had known they would be divorced, if they had known that they are going to be in a child custody battle, if they knew that they were going to be paying alimony, whether as the man or as the woman, would they have married that person? So when people make statements like she knew what she was getting into, it makes me wonder, oh, how do you know she knew what she was getting into? She wasn't given a prospectus or something. And if she was given a prospectus, that prospectus is vague at most. I'm sorry, it was the sun that was in my face. It was the sun that was in my face for the lightning, so yeah. And it's out again. Imagine. All right. As I was saying, and the sun, I think it went behind a cloud and then it's out again. Oh my god. All right. So when people say things like she knew what she was getting into, it makes me wonder, let's just assume she knew that all of this was going to happen. When you say she knew what she was getting into, what does that mean? Does that mean that someone has a right to call her child names or to make statements about their skin color? I think I need to change location. This is quite interesting. Sorry. All right. I think this might do. All right, so let me just keep talking while I'm finding a place where you can see my face properly. All right. So, as I was saying, even if she knew what she was getting herself into, like even if she knew, I don't think that means that she should be Does that mean everything she's going through right now is right? You know, that's one. Like, does that mean everything she's going through right now is right, is proper? Those are the things that we need to look into. Like, is it right? Is it proper? And another thing is that, did she sign up to have a child's inheritance be questioned? Did she sign up for questions being asked about the child's race or skin color and all of that? You know, so when people say things like, I'm sorry for that break where it was dark, I really had to move away and move somewhere else, you know. So did she sign up for all of that? I doubt she signed up for all of that. I mean, so when people say things like she knew what she was getting into, that is like saying that if a woman is in an abusive relationship, she signed to be abused in it. Or if a man is in an abusive relationship, he signed for that. Nobody really knows the full extent of what to expect when they get married. They have expectations. Sometimes they even have premonitions, but it is always different from reality. And the truth is that what you are told is just the tip of the iceberg. It's when you get into it that you now begin to see a lot of things, and then they will tell you, well, this is how we do here. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm sure there were a lot of things. In fact, not that I'm sure. If you are being honest with yourself, there are a lot of things that she found out that she had to put up with, or she had to, you know, endure, so to speak, and be grateful. Okay, after she got married, like, she wasn't told, you know, and a lot of people are saying she shouldn't have done the interview, and I'm thinking, well, if people didn't make it a habit of speaking on her behalf and behaving as if they can read her mind, saying all sorts of nasty things about her, then why would she need to grant any interview? You understand? Like, everybody, like, is as if she's supposed to sign up for being told, for being maligned. Do you understand? And not say anything and not do anything, you know. So I think that interview was for the best, you know. And some people will say things like, well, she said she didn't want publicity, or she doesn't want well, she wants controlled, like, a publicity. Well, I don't understand how some people think. Like, when she said she wants privacy, I think she meant that she didn't want the kind of publicity she has been getting. Like, I think she just came out to say her own side of the story. She knows that she would be in the public eye no matter what, but at least, shouldn't you be able to decide how you are in the public eye? And people say, well, she's in the royal family, you're not expected to have a mind of your own, and so on and so forth. Well, you find yourself a prince, marry into a royal family, and then come back and tell all of us how it feels like. Oh, I forgot. You can't. You see, you just have to be grateful that you all have a title and just take anything that is thrown at you. My advice to women who find themselves in this situation, and it's not only in the royal family that this happens, it happens, you know, in families that have traditional, or that have either traditional way of doing things, or they have a template for how things are done. They run their family like an organization, like a corporation, you know, so they have all things that is expected from every member of the family, things that are not expected of the members of the family. They have that. So it's not just in the royal family alone. My advice for her is that she should go and study politics. She should go and do a crash course on politics, because truth is, they are not going to leave her alone. They're never going to leave her alone, ever. They're going to keep saying all sorts of things against her. They're going to keep twisting everything she does into something sinister. You know, they're not going to leave her alone. And I felt a bit upset at her, which is wrong, by the way. I felt a bit upset at her for having mental problem issues, and I'm thinking, yo, what? What did you expect? Your mother-in-law, I pray God rest her soul, had mental issues. She had issues, and she was not given the support she needed. In fact, she was mocked for it. And they used that as a reason and an excuse to justify the behavior, if you may, of her husband at the time. That, oh yeah, it's because of her mental issues. That is why her husband could not stand it, and that is why he left. Can you imagine? See, someone like Meghan, she's too gentle. They say she's whatever, but I think she's very, very gentle. I can't imagine this happening to a wild African woman. I don't know any other word to use, but an African woman who is a warrior. Believe you me, she wouldn't bother with interviews or anything like that. She would just, because she's a hardened babe. Do you understand what I'm saying? She's going to, in fact, they won't even try that with her, because by the time she retaliates in her own special way, they will adjust. They will adjust. There are so many ways to skin a cat, right? And they're taking her, I think she's being very, very gentle. You know, that's why all this is getting to her. I think she should never expect any of these things to change. I think she should just learn to fight for herself. That's what I think. I don't know how she's going to do it. She's the one in this battle, because she has to protect her child too, right? Because once they are done with her, the next person they will move to is her child. They're going to hunt her child down and try to, well, maybe not hunt him down, but they're going to be following the child all over the place, monitoring him, making snide comments about him. So she had better brace herself and know how to hit these people back, whoever they are. She cannot just stay down and allow herself to keep getting beaten. She has to fight back. She has to fight back. I don't know how she's going to do it, but she has to. And she has to learn to be tough. You have your son's love, you have your husband's love, and I dare say you have God's love. That's all you need. That's all the strength you need. I mean, what mental issues are you having? It's not as if your husband is mistreating you or anything like that. You didn't even check where I was sitting. It's not that your husband is mistreating you. So what are you having mental health issues for? Because some people who will never, don't like you, will never like you, no matter what. They're having their bullying moments. She needs to toughen up. I think the first thing she might want to do is to read all books on politics, study a course in politics, because this is a political issue. If you understand politics, because this is political, in my opinion. So she might want to play politics with them too. Like, if you know someone is beating you at a game of chess, you go and learn how to play chess. Am I correct? That's what I think anyway. I think she should just toughen up and accept that this is the way things are. She needs to fight back in her own way, on her own turf, in her own terms. I don't know if I'll ever watch her interview. What I've heard and seen over the years, is very bad. I can't stomach the rest. No. I can't stomach the rest. I'm sorry. I can't stomach the rest. I think she needs to be strong for the sake of her husband, for the sake of her son. Because, see, her husband will feel burdened. Not because he has to leave the family or because of the demands that are being made of him, but because his wife is taking it badly. A man who is in love, his weakness is usually his wife. And when a woman is strong and she's fighting back and she's being fierce about it, the man will just relax like, you go, girl. Do you understand what I'm saying? But when you're not having mental health issues, you are taking it personal. Your husband will be worried. Don't do that to him. It would affect your son too. Because men are, I think he sees his mother in her. They should not put him through a situation where he's also having mental issues. If you are strong, if you encourage yourself and you become strong from the inside and say, you know what, the battle line has been drawn. Do you understand what I'm saying? When I say battle line, I don't mean throw mud slings or whatever at them or anything. No, like I said, there are many ways to skin a cat, and she's a very smart woman. I'm sure she'll come up with something. But I think her issue is that she's trying to win them over. She should stop that. You cannot win over someone who will never like you. So don't bother. I think now is the time for you to protect yourself, protect your husband, protect your son. Your husband has been protecting you. I think it's time you protected him. I know it's tough right now. She's had her child, she's pregnant, so her emotions are all over the place. That's understandable. But she needs to also protect herself like a woman can. There are ways that a woman can protect her family that only a woman can do. A man will always be worried when his wife is being hurt, and it is his family. His family is either part of it or they are, shall we say, they are permitting it to happen. They are either the one making it happen or the ones permitting it to happen. Right. It's either of both. Either or both. So as a woman, find your strength and see what you can do to protect yourself and your family. Even if it's only yourself you can protect, that will make her husband happier. That's what I think. I wish her and her family the best, and I hope to see her soon defending herself without even saying a word. I can't begin to figure out how to do it, but when you're in a situation, you kind of come up with a strategy. So she needs to think, she needs to study. Like I said, study politics, read about philosophers, Machiavelli, people who had weird philosophy. Not because you want to apply it, but when you understand the people you are contending with, you find what their weaknesses are. Yeah. Find out what their weaknesses. And then from there, I think you're smart enough to know what to do. I think the problem is that she doesn't know their weakness. Or maybe she knows and she doesn't want to use it. But hey, you have a family to protect. You have a husband to protect. You have your children to protect. Show them that a woman can be strong even if the whole world is against her. Well, That's it for now, guys. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click on the notification bell for more updates, and we can talk about this in the comment section. If you disagree, you agree, or you think there is something I should have touched on and I didn't touch on, or whatever, let's have a conversation in the comment section. Okay, I would really welcome that. All right, so God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Stay safe, stay maxed up, boost your immune system. Boost your immune system with supplements and food. All right, shalom.